food. Delia Smith has been speaking today about a new deal that combines both her favourite passions.
Delia was at the launch of the new Norwich City home kit to promote a sponsorship tie-up with a supermarket chain.
We sent Jim Rice to grill the Norwich City owner on matters food and football.
Coming back to a small screen near you. But Delia Smith's latest TV project is a little different, taking the form of 1- and 3-minute infomercials, half recipe, half advert, in partnership with a certain well-known supermarket chain.
What Waitrose have given me the opportunity to do is actually what I always do, and that's cook a recipe on television. They haven't asked me to march up and down and say, oh, I love Waitrose. They've asked me to do a recipe on television, you know, every other week, which is wonderful.
Of course, Delia's not the first TV chef to be associated with a major supermarket, but she insists there's no conflict of interest.
I think my days of TV and books are over because I'm getting a bit too old for that now. And I certainly wouldn't have done anything like that when I was doing them, because I think it's very important to be independent and free.
The partnership was announced as Norwich launched their new home kit for next season at Carrow Road this afternoon. The club, top of League One but still deep in debt, also stands to benefit from the new deal through its catering arm, and by a considerable amount.
For us to be joined with them is very good, and also we need the money.
So obviously beneficial to the football club as well.
Yes.
Are you able to say how beneficial?
No, but pretty beneficial.
Speaking of money, Delia and husband Michael Wynne-Jones are still holding the fort while the club searches for new investors. A couple of weeks back, the appearance of Lotus owner Tony Fernandez had fans excited they may have found one. So, have the two met?
I've met Tony, and he's a lovely man, and but financially everything is in the hands of Deloitte's, so my level doesn't deal with all that.
So it seems football's and food's First Lady isn't going to have to choose between her two passions just yet. Jim Rice, Anglia News.
Jim giving you a good grilling there, wasn't he?
Delia, too old for TV?
No, never.
And you can see the full interview with Delia
in unison
on our website at itv.com/Anglia.
Yep, you can also watch other items from the programme. Plus, there's the all-important weather forecast for the...
Less than an hour, fans of the arts will be able to find out who will be playing at this year's Latitude Festival. In just 5 years, the festival, which takes place in the grounds of Henham Hall near Southwold, has grown into being one of the most prestigious on the summer circuit. And the family-orientated event is about more than just music, with comedy, dance, literature and poetry among the other arts well represented.
There was the sun there, did you see that? It's quite warm by the looks of it. I remember those days.
Stay with us here on sunny ITV.
Now then, more news from your part of the region. Another of our main hospitals has ordered a complete ban on visitors because of a new outbreak of the winter vomiting bug norovirus. Management at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in King's Lynn say they've had to take drastic action to stop the spread of the illness, which has already affected more than 100 patients and staff since November.
A new way of funding war memorials is causing controversy in Norwich after the council announced it was creating a charitable trust to secure their long-term future.
Yep, the council says it's one way to avoid the memorial slipping into disrepair, but some say it's just another way to save money. Andrea Johnson has more on that.
Big changes are already underway at the main war memorial in Norwich city centre, not just in the way it will look, but also in the way it'll be funded. It took a long time for the City Council to secure nearly £3 million to restore the memorial gardens, but in the future projects like this will be independently funded, with a charitable trust looking after the donations.
What we want to make sure is both that it is fitting now and remains a fitting monument to them for many, many generations to come. The War Memorial Trust will be an opportunity for people to make a contribution towards that, and we'll make sure that we're never again at the whims and foibles of either politicians or local government finance in decades to come.
The council will still be responsible for general upkeep of the city's memorials, and they'll start the trust by putting in £5,000. The Royal British Legion says it fully supports the project and hopes other councils will follow suit, but not everyone agrees.
It's a public area, as well as there being a war memorial there, and consequently I think the council should pay for it.
It's probably a good idea because the people that died from the city are from all political persuasions, so it shouldn't be a political decision.
They're trying to just put the old owners onto somebody else, some faceless wonders, who we won't know who they are, be elected behind closed doors. None of us will ever have a say in the matter. It's a complete shambles.
The council hopes that won't be the case and that the city's war memorials remain a fitting tribute to those who have given their lives for our country. Andrea Johnston, Anglia News, Norwich.
It could be another 2 years before the public inquiry into the plans for a second runway at Stansted Airport is held. Stansted's owner, BAA, has confirmed it remains committed to the expansion, but says it could take at least 18 months to update the original planning application. The Stop Stansted Expansion Group has called on BAA to withdraw the plans.
A rare board game has gone on show at a museum in Essex, one designed for German children to pretend to shoot down British aeroplanes during the Second World War.
And it's rarer still as, in a twist of irony, the factory where it was made was bombed by the Allies. Here's Tom Barton.
In among the dolls, teddy bears and action men at this toy museum in Essex, there's a unique and intriguing piece of history. It's all about war games, but from a Nazi perspective. A board game made for German children during the Second World War.
It was produced in 1941 in Dresden by a Luftwaffe officer. There was two produced, which was the dogfight game and the air defence game. They're extremely rare, simply because they were produced in Dresden. And as you know, we bombed Dresden. It got burnt to the ground and the factory and everything went up. And so there's none existing, or very, very few.
And you've just managed to get your hands on one of the very few which are left.
Yes, that's right. We think it's about the only one left in the world. There may be 2 or 3 others, but very few were produced. And as I say, most of them were burnt and destroyed in the war.
Not only is this game extremely rare, it also gives a fascinating insight into how German children played during the war. The aim of the game, to shoot down British planes as they fly over German airspace. I guess you've had a little go at playing these games. How fun are they to play?
It's OK, but you don't like shooting down your own British bombers, do you? Cheat and make them so we miss.
The game is so rare, it cost a remarkable £600 at auction. But for the museum, having this pair on display together is priceless. Tom Barton, Anglia News at Stansted Mount Fitchett in Essex.
Extraordinary. Now, on to football, and Southend have named former manager David Webb as their new assistant manager. That's following the dismissal of Paul Brush yesterday. Meanwhile, their Essex neighbours Colchester were held to a 0-0 draw by struggling Brighton last night. Colchester stay 4th in League One. That's 5 points behind second-placed Leeds United.
In the Championship, both Peterborough and